Hello and welcome to Time About the Movies Flashback, and today we're taking a look at the films of May 6, 1988. We've got 6 movies to look at, and I have found clips for all of them, so we will talk about 6 movies on this show. And let's start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is James Glickenhaus's Shakedown.
Peter Weller. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone, babe. Sam Elliott. Oh, I know what you're thinking. I'm old and slow. Shakedown.
Someone saw Beverly Hills Cop 2 and said, that song title is catchy, we need to make that into a name of a movie. And we have this movie with Peter Weller from RoboCop and Sam Elliott is in his days when he was in stuff like Roadhouse, and then what was the other Whoopi Goldberg movie? Not Burglar. Burglar's the one I'm thinking of. But this is Sam Elliott back in his days when he actually kind of did not look. Is actually the more I think about it, he does kind of look like what he now does now, except now he's much older. But in this movie, you have Peter Weller as an idealistic lawyer. Okay, calm down. Peter Weller is an idealistic lawyer who teams up with a veteran cop played by Sam Elliott to find out the truth in a possible police corruption scandal. Now, the trailer sells this as kind of supposed to be another Lethal Weapon type of film, although it really is not that. Granted, there are a couple of decent funny moments here and there, some moments that are intended to be funny, but it's not a straightforward Lethal Weapon knockoff, and honestly, that's what I really kind of appreciated about this movie. I think the pairing of these two guys, Peter Weller and Sam Elliott, I think works very well to the film's advantage. They do have a nice little bit of chemistry together. The action sequences overall are pretty well done, considering that this director is the same director that also did McBain, the Christopher Walken film. It's a pretty interesting little film that kind of nobody really ever talks about, honestly. It came out, kind of came and went, and really didn't get much attention until Shout Factory put out a pretty nice Blu-ray release a couple years ago. But it was actually one that was kind of surprised at how much I enjoyed. It looked like a film, like I said, it looked like a film that was going to be a straight-up Lethal Weapon knockoff, but honestly, it turned out to be much better and much cleverer than I thought it would be. It works because of, A, the chemistry between the two leads, the action sequences overall are well done, and the directing is pretty good on it. I mean, it's a very solid, entertaining film. Kind of an underrated little gem, so if you haven't seen Shakedown, I'd say definitely check it out. It's definitely worth a watch. So yeah, Shakedown almost could have been a Lethal Weapon knockoff, but here's a knockoff that is a knockoff of something that clearly Canon Films was trying to create the next Break-In 4 years after Break-In broke out, but here's Salsa.
What friend? Go with Rico, Rico, Rico.
Salsa, the motion picture.
It's literally a knockoff of breaking, except they're doing the salsa instead of breakdancing. You have this guy who has a job as a mechanic. He's played by Robbie Rosa, who enters his true element, the wild exuberance of La Luna, a salsa club located in East Los Angeles, California. Dreaming of making himself and Vicky, played by Angela Alvarado, his girlfriend, the king and queen of salsa, Rico pours all of his energy into winning La Luna's grand salsa competition, but when Luna, Miranda Garrison, the club's gorgeous owner, sets his sights on making Rico her dance partner, Rico must decide what drives him, his ambition or his heart. And what do you think's going to happen? I don't even need to tell you how this movie ends to tell you what the heck is going to happen. Even though this is directed by a really good director, Bose Davidson, who has made a couple of decent films beforehand. I mean, most notably The Last American Virgin, and he's written a couple of movies as well, but this is a film that is just straight up a rip-off and knockoff of not even a far superior movie, but at least a fun film with the Breaking movies. The Breaking movies are at least fun in their own way. This is a movie where it's just kind of like, we just want to create another Breaking success, even if we don't know what the hell we're doing to things. It's like, I don't know, like, to me, this just feels really, really lazy. Like, I mean, at least with the Step-Up movies, where they kept making them every single time, there was at least something to these newer movies that they were doing. Like, they'd be in 3D at one point, and then they'd have all these ridiculously crazy dance moves. Like, you would have never thought the Step-Up movies would have so many movies that actually keep you invested because of the stuff they were doing, like the stuff with the, like I said, the 3D and the crazy dance moves. But here, it's just laziness. It's like, but then again, that's Canon Films and that's Golden Globes for you. I mean, what the hell else do you expect from them? And yeah, not much more to say about this one, though. It's just, it is what you think it is, and it's not really, really good. I mean, just stick with the breaking movies. At least those are at least somewhat enjoyable. But let's move on to our next movie: Treat Williams and Joe Piscopo in Dead Heat.
It's old.
How do you fight this thing? Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Treat Williams
Sit down.
and Joe Piscopo are Dead Heat.
How the hell did this movie never become a cult classic like Shell Factory? Where's the Blu-ray release for this? Because, man, this looked like a ton of fun. You have an LAPD officer played by Treat Williams who is murdered while attempting to arrest zombies who have been reanimated by the head of Dante Laboratories in order to carry out violent armed robberies, and decides to get revenge with the help of his former partner played by Joe Piscopo. You also have Darren McGavin, Lindsay Frost, and Vincent Price. And this is directed by Mark Goldblatt. Mark Goldblatt is well known now as being an editor for several different movies, specifically the Terminator movies, the Rambo movies. He's done a lot of stuff for James Cameron. But this is one of his few directing efforts, and I think this might... No, I take that back. There was one other movie he directed, the canon film version of The Punisher, which... the Dolph Lundgren one is what I should be saying, but this is one of his few directing attempts, and you know what? From the looks of it, it looks like a pretty fun movie. It looks like a fun, different spin on the buddy cop comedy thing, where you have, it's a zombie movie too, and the visuals look pretty good. I mean, there's definitely a lot about this that looks like it could be fun, but sadly, I don't think this movie ever got a proper DVD Blu-ray release. Before I even say anything, I should probably see for myself if it actually has a Blu-ray release. Okay, it does have a Blu-ray release. It's not a Shout Factory release, but it's Image Entertainment. So at least it has an actual Blu-ray release, and it's not that expensive either. It's only $15. So with this and Big Girls Don't Cry, they get even. I might be doing some shopping here pretty soon, getting some of these movies that look pretty interesting. But this definitely looks like a film I want to check out, because just the concept alone and the ideas that it has, probably could be a really good movie. So maybe one day I'll definitely check it out. But we got another horror comedy here, and that is My Best Friend is a Vampire, next.
You will go out with me on Saturday night.
You've got to be kidding.
For better, for worse, garlic.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Forever. I'm a vampire.
My lips are sealed. Just make sure yours stay that way, too. I don't want to wake up a few planets low.
My best friend is a vampire.
Yet another movie that has a really cool concept and a really cool idea, and I kind of want to check it out, but I know I can at least get this somewhere for a reasonable price. My Best Friend is a Vampire, or it was also known as I Was a Teenage Vampire, and you have a movie here where you have a newly made vampire who is trying to live as a good vampire and not feed on humans. Meanwhile, his parents have noticed changes in their son's lifestyle, but are under the mistaken impression that he is a closeted homosexual. Jeremy is played by Robert Sean Leonard, while Renee Augenet is Jeremy's vampire guidance counselor, and David Warner is a vampire hunter. And most interesting thing about this movie is that this is written by Tab Murphy, who is a name that it's one of those names that you might not know right off the bat, but you've definitely seen his work before. He wrote the story for Gorillas in the Mist. He's written a lot of screenplays for Disney films, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Tarzan, Atlantis, Brother Bear. Written a lot of stuff for DC and Warner Brothers. I mean, he's done a lot of notable things as a writer. So this is actually the first thing he ever written, and I mean, it seems like a really interesting idea. I'm not going to say if it's any good or not, because I haven't really seen it, but it's one that I definitely have a lot of curiosity about, of how this actually works, because it does actually look pretty funny. It looks like a very slick, very unique kind of comedy, and could be pretty good. I mean, I've actually heard some good reviews for this film from people that I know and respect, but it looks like a film that could be very, very interesting and pretty amusing too. So, add another one to the list of movies I need to check out. My Best Friend is a Vampire. It's seems like a fun little concept here. So, let's move on to the next movie, and that is Judgment in Berlin.
And that's when you made the hijacking plan.
We are very frightened. Suddenly, Helmut had the plan that we should buy the gun.
Why did I say that title like a vampire? Judgment in Berlin. But Judgment in Berlin, this is actually directed and written by Leo Penn, who's the father of Sean Penn, and it stars Martin Sheen, Sam Wanamaker, and Penn himself. And you have a story that's based on the Cold War true story of 3 East Berlin men who hijack a plane to escape to the West. After being caught, they stand trial in Germany, where an American judge must decide if the hijacking of a plane into West Berlin was justified by the political circumstances and economic hardships of life in the German Democratic Republic. Obviously, this came out a whole year before the Berlin Wall came down, and that's really all I know about this movie in particular. I don't really have anything else of note with this, except the fact that I think the judge in this movie is actually played by the judge from Ghostbusters 2, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that's him, because it's the same actor, and I'm looking on here, he's also been in Ghostbusters 2, so I think that is him. I find that kind of amusing, but yeah, I've never seen this movie, so I can't really say for certain if it's good or not. So, came out this weekend, so, yeah. On to the last movie, and that is the horror film Prison.
Enter another world.
We just hanging around this slaughterhouse waiting for contact.
Not a pleasant place to spend one's life, is Miss Walker.
Prison.
I mean, it pretty much speaks for itself, a haunted prison. In 1956, an inmate named Charlie Forsyth in Credmore Prison was executed by electric chair for a murder he did not commit. When Credmore Prison is reopened after 30 years, Forsyth returns from the afterlife to seek revenge on Ethan Sharp, played by Lane Smith, the officer who stood by as Forsyth was executed. Inmate Burke is played by Viggo Mortensen, and all of his other inmates soon realize they will all be slaughtered unless Forsyth is allowed to repay his long-standing debt. You also have Kane Hodder from Friday the 13th in here, Tiny Zeus Lister from the Friday movies, Chelsea Field is also in here as well, and this is directed by Rennie Harlan, who of course would follow this up with the 5th Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and then following that up with Die Hard 2, with eventually becoming kind of the equivalent, kind of a top action director after this point, because he also did Cliffhanger in '93, Long Kiss Goodnight, Deep Blue Sea. This is only his second film as a director, but yeah, so I've never seen this movie, so I can't really say if it's any good or not, but it looks like it has a lot of atmosphere and a lot of good ideas to it, plus early Rennie Harlan, so, I mean, if you're kind of interested and wanted to see how that turns out, I mean, I guess you can check it out, but, again, I haven't seen it, so I can't really say for certain if it's good or not, but, there you go, Prison. And with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies Flashback. Next time, we'll flashback into April of 1988, the last week of April, with 6 more movies, including Blake Edwards' Sunset, Critters 2, the main course, Zalman King's Two Moon Junction, and another canon film, Powquatsi, Powquatsi. I guess that's the pronunciation they're going with here. But we also have Wings of Desire and also Da, D-A. So we will take a look at all 6 of those movies on the next episode. Hopefully, if I can find the clips for them so we can talk about them. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the plays on the next page, check out the previous episode. And also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So, with that said, I'm off. I will see you guys next time. And until then, thanks for watching. Take care.